Hi, ladies. Hi.
Hello.
Hello. Thank you guys for being here on a new night. Sorry about last week, but I'm way better now. I've still got a little bit of a hoarse voice, but doing much better. Thank you for all your well wishes. Um, okay, let's dive in. Hold on, let me just organize my screen here. Um, okay, so I just want to put I need to I need to stop at the top of the hour today. You guys, my brain is still really foggy, and so I'm like losing some of my words. I'm not as articulate as I normally am. So just I'm just gonna put that out there in the space so it's not bugging me. Um, but I have to end the call at the top of the hour. So I just want everybody, if you think that you want to share or you want to check in with me, to make sure that you raise your hand and you go first because I'm going to stop right at the top of the hour. Okay. I would love to hear from those of you that were in or that have been in the Push the Food Away challenge and see how you guys are doing. I'll take all of the hands up, but I am also really interested in checking in with you guys and seeing if there's any help that you need navigating that and see how you're doing with it. So, as a reminder, just for the new people here, we always start off by sharing wins. So it can be anything as big or small as you would like to share, and then ask me whatever it is you'd like some help with, and I maybe will ask questions or give you a challenge or pair you up with somebody else in the group. We never know what's going to come out of me. Okay, Claire, go ahead. You've got your hand up first.
Okay. So I wasn't in the Push the Food Away challenge, but
Okay.
2 months ago, I don't know if you remember, I had talked about how as I'm nearing the tail end of the program, I was feeling successful in many ways, but that I hadn't done the don't clean your plate or clean your plate, I guess when you throw a whole meal out. And you
Okay.
suggested that we do a WhatsApp group, and a few of us did the challenge,
Oh,
and
good.
and
How
it
did
was
it go?
successful. Yeah, it was good. And I'm telling you this 2 months out because last month when you changed it to a Wednesday night, I had pickleball on Wednesdays, so I couldn't.
Oh, bummer.
But being a teacher, I had to report. Um, are you looking for me? I feel like
Yeah, I found you.
yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
you guys don't lower your hands until we're done talking because then you move on my screen and I can't find you anymore.
yeah. So I just being a teacher myself, I had to report back that we did do the homework. Um,
Great.
I would have reported last month. I was at
Okay.
pickleball.
Okay, no problem.
And then the other thing is, I guess it's a win, but it's a weird thing. It's like a win and a complaint wrapped into one.
Okay.
Um, I remember that somewhere in the program you had something about how your tribe reacts to you losing weight and changing habits and appearance or whatever.
Yeah.
And that some people are supportive and some people aren't. And I went out, saw a friend of mine who doesn't live in Maine in the winter, so I haven't seen her in months. And she was here to check on her house for a few days. And I steeled myself ahead of time because I knew somewhere in there she'd say something that would annoy me about my size. And so I was kind of prepared. And so this is kind of the win part where I was like, she's going to say something and I'm going to feel triggered and I'm going to work on not being triggered by it. And
Okay.
sure enough, I got out of the car and I wasn't out of the car for, maybe we said 3 sentences. And she said, "Oh, Claire, you're emaciated." Now, I'm sorry, but I'm not emaciated by anybody's, you know, version of what emaciated is. And I just said to her, I laughed and I said, "Emaciated? Really? Thank you." And she said,
Mm.
"Oh, no." She said, "I would love it if somebody called me emaciated." And I'm like, "Yeah, whatever." And I just, so that's also my complaint is there. Why is it that everybody feels like they can comment about a woman's size one way or another?
Yeah.
Comment if they think a woman's too large. Women comment if whatever they feel threatened or they feel like someone's being more successful than them or what. I don't even know why, but
Do you
I,
know what? I find the best way to deal with things like that, especially if you want to maintain I mean, this is a body boundary violation, right? This is a really subtle one. And so this is you getting the chance to demonstrate your boundaries with your own body. And I find that when there are people that you want to keep close and that you don't want to have any friction with, but you want to get the message across, having something that you say, like, she said this once and you were prepared for it. So this is something that she often will say. She'll comment about your body. So if that's something that happens over and over again, having something prepared to fire back with when she says that
mm,
ahead of time before you see that person is one of the best things that you can do. And it could be something, I mean, I like to keep it lighthearted and funny if it's somebody that I love, that I want to keep in my life. Something like, oh yeah, I started a new diet. Do you want me to give you my secrets? Or, something like that's not really setting a boundary, but be like, yeah, my new diet's working. Just having something to where you can say like, yeah, this is my body, and that's um like I mean, I don't know. What did you say that you said to
well,
her?
she said, "Oh, you're emaciated." And I said, "Emaciated?" And I laughed and
Oh, you
I said,
said
"Oh,
I would love if
thanks,"
she
sarcastically. And then she's like, "Oh no, but I would love it if someone said I was emaciated." And it's like, yeah, right.
yeah, having an answer in the pipeline ahead of time is really the way to go with that. Also, there is a section, I think it's module 8, where we talk about shadow work. And
Yes.
yeah, this might be a good opportunity if you're feeling triggered by her, which is what I'm picking up on. It might be a good opportunity. I don't give it a lot of weight because that doesn't necessarily cause you to lose weight or to stop emotional eating, but it's something that everybody deals with, especially when we're dealing with our weight. And so that's one of those modules that if you're finished with the program, if you're towards the end, you could go back and do a refresher on.
Okay, that's a good suggestion
Yeah.
because I am 5 months in. So
Yeah,
mid,
perfect. So that's a perfect time.
April, I'll be technically at the end of the program.
Cool. Okay. Awesome. Well, thanks, Claire.
Thank you.
Congrats on your success.
Thanks.
Okay, Abigail and then Jennifer is next. Hey,
Hello,
Abigail.
how are you?
Good. How are you?
Not too bad. I am one weekend, so
You,
I'm a
you were
newbie.
you were what again?
1 week in.
Oh, awesome. So you just joined last week.
I just joined last week.
Welcome.
So I did my Girl Talk intention setting
Nice.
uh thing. I was a little surprised here and there, but it was really good, and
Nice.
so kind of win for making it through the first week because there's a lot of information to get
There
through.
is. I know. It's kind of like a fire hose in the beginning. Well, so people would say we started it too slow or we started it too fast. We get both. So yeah,
But no, it's been really good, and kind of one of my concerns, I guess, is right now I'm home recovering from surgery, so I'm kind of living in a bubble. So it's like I have the time to work on this, which is good.
great.
I'm kind of a little nervous about when I do go back to work and I am able to walk again and actually get to the kitchen.
Oh, how long do you have to be at work? Or how long do you have to be at home? Sorry.
About another month.
Great.
So, but I'm like, is this all going to start boomeranging?
No, no. Um, if you so 2 months is usually when people will make a big change. So what I would do is if you have, I would focus on either cravings or emotional eating this first month, or even just for 2 weeks. I mean, you don't actually need that long for cravings, especially if you're giving it a lot, or if you're giving it a lot of time and attention. Um, so are cravings something that you struggle with?
More, I'll tend to emotional eat or binge.
Oh, okay, great. So then scrap that and replace it with emotional eating. So just work on the push the food away technique for the next month. Um, give it a good 2 weeks and then come back to one of these calls and we'll check in and see how you're doing. But don't worry, don't be super overwhelmed with all the modules and all the new information and going through everything perfectly. You have access to the push the food away technique and the class in your bonus section. So
Mhm.
so do those. You have all the information that you need to do those and to focus on that part of the program because that's the one that's probably the hardest to do. That one and anger work are probably the hardest to do when you have like work and you have a pretty busy schedule. Um, so if you do push the food away and if you learn how to do that really well over the next couple of weeks, come back and I can give you some instructions for how to add anger tapping into that. And if that's all you did for the next 30 days, you'll have a lot of success. You'll have so much success that you'll still have work to do month 2 and 3, but there'll be small things and it won't take over your whole life or it won't grab you emotionally the way that some things will right now because you're just
Okay.
starting. Yeah. So I love that. I mean, I always say that people find me when they have the time and the attention and the emotional capacity to do this. So yeah, if you've got that space in your calendar right now, take advantage. I think that's great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. And did you get coaching? Do you have a coach?
I do have a coach. Yes.
Great.
I haven't met with her yet.
Okay. If there's any kind of sexual trauma or anything like that that you know of that you can
Hmm.
remember, tell her about
Hmm.
that so you guys can start tackling that right now.
Will do.
Yeah, you don't want to be working on that when I mean, you can't, this can all be done. It will just feel, and you can listen, you can also only do so much in 30 days. Like you do one big tapping session in a day, you can't go back for more the next day. I have never been able to do that. The most I've ever done is like I think 5 hours of just like sobbing in the day when I was purging a lot, but that's really rare. Most of the time, if you do one big session and it makes you cry or get some anger out or, it's a big emotional release, usually you're pretty wiped out that day.
Okay.
Yeah. So be kind with yourself. I love the tenacity. And yeah, let's just get as much done as we can in 30 days.
All right.
All right. Awesome,
Thank you.
Abigail. Glad to have you here.
All right.
Okay. Oh, Jennifer.
Hi. So
Hi.
Sally told me that I need to introduce myself. Um, I am 1 week into the Thrive program, though I had gotten your 6-week program like early February and have gotten through some of it. And I was fortunate enough to be able to be live with you last weekend at your webinar.
Awesome.
Um,
You don't remember her?
Yeah, I do. Of course I do. That's what I was thinking. Why does she look so familiar? Ah,
that's me.
yes. Now I remember. It's cooking. Thanks, Sally.
Um, and so, I guess a win is feeling really excited about having all of these new connection possibilities and these human real-time interactions that are going to come with this program. And really having, like, as hard as it was on Sunday for that thing with the webinar, and then on Wednesday, I was part of the tapping circle and we did some echo work and anger work, and like
Cool.
it came at the right time because I was in a very, very low place emotionally and was able to like just dig into those emotions and have a lot. It just felt really big and really good. And I actually have been in good emotional space for the last, since then,
Awesome.
um, which has been really lovely. So I would just love, if you, particularly if you remember anything about, some of what we talked about on Sunday in the webinar, or just any
Give
general
me
advice.
yeah, tell me exactly tell me the biggest thing that you're wanting to change right now.
I think the biggest thing is really around a lot of, I want to be able to feel like I'm in control around food and to not, I think for me, it's more an emotional eating than a cravings. Um, and apparently my hand just automatically lowered. Sorry.
That's okay. No
Um,
worries. I got you.
um, there are foods that I have fond memories of, but there's not a lot that I go out of my way to go get. But I work from home and I do find that when I get overwhelmed, it is it is a pattern for me to just go and like case the kitchen. Um, and sometimes I can manage to get back to my seat without grabbing food. And I've not yet been very good at managing to tap in the moment, which
Okay.
is something I need to work on. I fully
It's
acknowledge that.
super hard to do. It's, you know what, Jennifer, it's super hard to do in the moment. If anybody, is anybody else like having a really hard time doing echo tapping when you're triggered? Okay, this advice goes for all of you. It's hard to do, right? Okay. So this is like echo tapping light, okay? Because until you do some really deep sessions and probably add some anger work on top of that, or, you know, do some purging emotionally, it's really hard to get yourself to push the food away instead of tap. And so this is what I recommend doing. Go when you're triggered and you're aware enough to go, okay, I know I should tap, but I really want to eat. And you're kind of in that struggle of like, "Ah, I should tap, but I want to eat, but I should tap, but I want to eat." Let yourself eat some food, like make a plate. Don't do this while you're in the refrigerator. Well, you can actually do this anywhere. Let yourself eat whatever, let yourself start eating. Just also start tapping while you're eating. Okay?
Hmm.
That's all I want you to do. And remember, when you tap, you're going to be triggered. It's going to go against your nature to tap slowly, but as best you can, try to tap slowly. And you guys, I'm bad at this even when I record my videos. So everybody has a hard time with this, but try as best as you can, especially when you're in that moment, because what this is going to do is it's going to lower your anxiety and it's going to soothe your nervous system. Okay. Because in that moment your brain has decided that its only safety mechanism is the food, and when you're taking away the food, the anxiety shoots up to the roof and then all of your logical faculties go offline. So this is one of the best ways to kind of like stay in your body as much as possible, and also give yourself this other behavior that it's you know, had a lot of experience with, in terms of calming you down and making everything better. Okay. So allow yourself to eat the food. And if at some point, you know, do a couple rounds of that, you'll probably feel less anxious and less triggered within a couple rounds of that. At that point, ask yourself, could we push this away now? And you might get when you push it away, something still might come up, or something might not come up, and you might just not care about the food anymore. Okay. So that's the echo tapping light, is it doesn't necessarily heal the problem so that the emotional eating stops coming back like echo tapping does, but it will soothe you in that moment if it's really hard to not reach for the food. Okay. So what I like to do is I like to tap enough to soothe myself, to enough to calm myself down, but not enough to make it so that I don't have an echo anymore. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
I want to
Mhm.
still,
Mhm.
so it might just be 1 or 2 rounds of tapping and a few deep breaths and then push it away. And so even if you're still a little bit triggered about that, I would try to, if you can, if you have the time and if you have the space, do the echo tapping.
Then go into
And
the
yeah,
full one. Yeah.
if you don't
Okay.
have the time, if you don't have the bandwidth, then cool, call it a day. And then do the same thing. If you feel the food calling you again later on, do the exact same thing. But
Okay.
just know it's always better to do echo tapping.
That's more
Always.
like the short-term fix rather than
It
fixing the root
is.
of the
So
issue.
don't rely on this strategy alone because it won't get you
Okay.
the results that you want. This is just it's like it's a band-aid. I mean, it will probably get you there.
Training
It just
wheels.
might, yeah, training wheels, or it might get you there, but it would take, you know, a year or something. It would take you a lot longer.
Okay. All
Okay.
right. Thanks.
Okay, thanks, Jennifer, for asking that, because everybody else had that question too. We were struggling with that. Okay, Cindy, go ahead and unmute yourself. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Um, so the 30-day challenge group is amazing.
Oh, yes, you were the leader. You put
Well,
the WhatsApp group together. Well,
yes.
yes. Well, you organized it. Thank you so much for doing that. I know
Oh
that
my
was
God,
outside
no,
of your comfort zone.
thank you for the opportunity. You know, I will only speak for myself. It's amazing to have, it's just amazing to have this support and to not feel so alone because, undoubtedly I'll post something like, oh, my sister is on Ozempic and has already lost 4 pounds, and I'm incredibly jealous and blah, blah, blah. And someone will say, as they did today, oh, my friend is doing that too, and I feel the same way. So, so my win is, I'm going to try to keep it brief. My win is that after about a week and a half of a lot of push the food away, a lot of anger work, a lot of rebel work, I had like these 4 or Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 4.5 days of it was like I was cured. Like I didn't think,
Oh,
yeah, I mean, it was pretty amazing. It was kind of scary, which is
okay, we need to
maybe,
talk about that, because what happened after the 4 to 5 days? Because you said
well,
I had 4
yeah,
to 5 days that like I was cured.
yeah. And so this is what happened. And Brittany, this is not about, I don't want you to take it like I'm upset that you didn't make it on Thursday because it was just all part of it's just,
Okay.
no, but so I was getting edgy leading up to the call.
Oh,
I was like,
yeah.
I really don't want to do this. I don't want to do this call. And I was getting antsy and I was getting that feeling. But but I made the call and then you weren't on. And I was like, yes. And that's when it started.
Yeah.
And that's when it started.
That's
And
what started.
definitely a rebel. And
Mm.
oh, the eating.
Okay, so you had 4 or 5 days of being
And it
like,
was actually I can't really remember it that well.
shoot, I don't know if that's my lane
Oh,
or yours.
everyone's frozen.
Yeah, I don't know if that's my lane or yours, but
I bet I'm frozen. Can you see me?
yeah, I can hear you now. It
Oh,
seems like
God.
it's going in and out though. Oh, shoot. Cindy.
It's not you, Britt.
Yeah, okay. Okay, Cindy, I'm gonna mute you, and when you go into the other room, and I see you pop back on my screen, we'll chat and we'll finish this.
Wait, can you hear me
Um,
now?
Oh, yeah, there you are. Hi.
Okay. Anyway, I just moved rooms. Anyway, so I guess I actually can't even remember, but I guess I'm pretty sure I know I overate. And then I was better on Friday, but then not so good Friday night. And then the same on Saturday, just struggling with it. And then last night was a disaster. But and I did do echo tapping like mostly throughout it. And then this morning I really focused on something that was triggering me and also did some more boundary work, which was very helpful. And so, you know, onward and upward. I'm
So let me just offer you a perspective shift, and
sure.
it might be helpful in this moment.
Please.
Sounds
Sure.
like you have a big rebel and like saboteur kind of coming to the surface right now.
Yeah.
So that only happens when you make a lot of progress in,
Right.
like all the work that you did with echo tapping up until this point, when you had that 4 or 5 days of like peace and you didn't care about food, you get to keep that. You get to keep all that work. You don't have to go back and redo all of that. Okay. So
Right.
I know it feels and it looks, and I have to have my coaches, my friends, my therapist, people remind me of this when I'm in it, which is why you'll hear me repeat it to
Mm.
you, because I understand how easy it is to forget this, because
Yeah.
I forget it. You are just hitting another road bump right now
Right.
that all that previous work has dug up. So even though it feels like 2 steps backwards, it's actually not. It's like
Mhm.
there's you're digging and you've hit another tunnel. You've
Right.
hit another mound of shit to uncover.
Yeah.
And so listen, there might be part of you, Cindy, that wants to just take a fucking break. You know, you've done a lot of work. Sounds like you're doing anger work. I don't think the 30 days is up yet, right? That was just 2.5 weeks
No,
ago.
no,
Yeah,
actually tomorrow I think is the third, will be the end of the third week.
third week. Okay, cool.
You know, I don't want to take a break. I just want to get fucking through this.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. And I think so. I think you've got what, 10 more days of this.
Mhm.
And there's, anger, there's frustration, there's, all sorts of juicy things that you could be working on.
Yep.
And you committed to the 30 days. And I think there's something that's really magical that happens when people commit, especially to 30 days. I was thinking after I gave you guys that challenge, I've never done a 30-day challenge for anybody before. So I'm really curious to see what happens with you guys. I've only done 7 days at most. So 30 days is going to be, I think, really life-changing.
Yeah.
And also, Cindy, just so you know, the reason that there's an end of these challenges is because you need time to stop tapping, to walk away from it in order for all the results to settle in. So you might have actually made more progress than you're realizing right now. We
Right.
won't know that until the 30 days is up, and until you take at least probably a week off.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have faith. I really do. It's just you know, it's
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 a
a lot.
lot. This is not for the
It's a
faint of heart.
lot.
This is like doing ayahuasca or like plant
No,
medicine.
I know. I
It's a big
know.
undertaking. It's a big
Yeah.
undertaking. I
Yeah.
know.
But
Well, you're doing a
anyway,
great job. You're doing a
but
great
thank you.
job. And I'll be here for, the next one for us to check in. And after that, and
I know.
I'm
I
tracking
know.
you, and I think you're gonna do great. And it
Thank
doesn't matter
you.
what the results are. You are just the fact that you're doing so much echo tapping work. I've never had anybody do echo tapping work and not get results.
Right.
So just
I
know,
believe in it.
yeah.
I believe in it. So, and I appreciate your support and the support of everyone in the group. Actually, Brittany, because I have a hard time in visualizing the angels, you've
Yeah.
become one of the angels.
Oh, that's so sweet. What an
Yeah. No,
honor.
I mean,
You.
yeah, I was like, well, it was kind of natural. So anyway,
I appreciate that.
all right. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you guys just see my angel side. You don't see my devil side. Which I definitely have too. I've had a few ex-boyfriends see that side. Okay, Sydney. Cindy, why, how do I say your
Sid-
name?
It's Sydney. It's Sydney.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. I'm just cracking up because I really relate to Cindy.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sorry.
Oh man. I too am in the 30-day challenge, and it is amazing. There's so much inspiration and like resonance and relatability and motivation in it. So yeah, the win I'll say is I'm not overthinking or over censoring as much. Like I've also been doing a lot of boundary and anger tapping, and you had mentioned like this kind of would happen of like just seeing yourself out there in the world kind of say something or have a response that is actually like healthy, but it's unfamiliar, like to see myself in that, like just healthy assertion and expression of boundaries, and also like getting a lot of material from my life at large. like a lot of triggers and a lot of stuff coming at me. So
Mm.
that's also interesting. But I also hit a major wall, like was echo tapping every day. Yeah, doing a lot of anger work, like probably overly ambitious, putting a bunch of stuff on my plate. And I'm maybe starting to see like it's actually like a sabotage kind of mechanism potentially. But I just hit, yeah, I think this was about a week ago. I haven't done push the food away for since Friday. It's Monday. No, it's Monday, yeah. And then about a week and a half ago, I just was doing the anger, kind of a more fuller anger tapping and sending my stepdad and my sister to the healing center. Not together. These were separate times too. It was like just one of them. And I was just like, no, they don't deserve to go to the healing center. Like,
Oh.
no, I'm embarrassed to say this, but I feel so much revenge. Like I want revenge and
Mhm.
them to suffer. And my little girl, my young Sydney's like, she can't, she's not ready. Maybe she's not open to anything beyond, I was powerless. This is what happened. I'm really fucking angry. They don't deserve to get instantaneous healing when I've been like suffering for years and years. Like, fuck that. No.
Mm.
And I've been tapping a bit, like the morning routine or like the frustration buster tapping, and I just feel myself going through the motions because I'm just like,
Oh, I so relate to you right now. I understand exactly what you're struggling with, and it is so fucking hard. I was just tuning into something as you were saying that because somebody helped me with this when I was going through something similar. Um, so number one, the first thing is that you can do the kicking the offender's ass. And have you heard that part of my program yet?
mm-mm.
It's usually with the sexual trauma. It might not, it might be coming up, or it might be in the future for you. Um, Essentially, I don't know what the story is with your dad and with your sister, but this is what we do for people that have sexually violated us, because often there's a feeling of deep revenge that we
Yeah.
all experience in those situations. I had two different men steal money from me, like quite a lot of money from me. And this has just happened in the last couple of years, and I had to
Mm.
deal with this myself. And so sometimes anger work just isn't fucking enough. And I was really stuck because I teach this, and it was really horrible. So one of the techniques that I teach when we talk about the sexual trauma is called kicking the offender's ass, which is basically do whatever it is you need to do in order to feel like you can get your revenge, or you are inflicting the pain that you want to inflict on that person. Everybody has it. So you might think that you're fucked up and gruesome and weird.
Yeah.
Everybody's gets really bloody and it gets really gross. Like I was like cutting this guy's dick off, sticking it in his mouth. Like, I mean, gross shit. I will spare you the rest of the details. But just so you know, just so you don't feel alone and dark, everybody's gets bloody. I had a client stick a guy in a wood chipper one time and then feed it to him. She resurrected him and then she fed it, like gross shit, fucking really gross shit. But it feels really good. It is healing. It is healing
Yeah.
in a lot of ways. And
Yeah.
even that wasn't enough for me at one point. And so this woman, thankfully, I was working with this healer at the time, and she was able to identify that the reason I was holding on to the revenge is for justice. So there is some, you might need to sit down and write out how you will feel justified, right? So maybe think through like, how will you feel justified? What scenario can you play out in your head so that you feel justified? That's number one. Number two is she said it with her words, and I don't think I'm going to be able to do that for you now. But essentially, but this is something that I want you to meditate on and think about. She said, Brittany, handing it over to divine justice. What
Mm.
if you just let divinity take care of the justice part? Because the revenge emotion will sink you.
Yeah.
It will
Yeah.
really fucking sink you.
Yeah, it
And
is.
for me, that was all I needed to do. I just, in my mind, I handed it over to divine justice, and I just fucking let it go in that moment.
Yeah.
But I had done all these other things that I'm telling you about. So if that's not enough, I wanted you to have the other tools and techniques. But yeah, honey, I'm so sorry. This is a horrible feeling. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I get hitting a wall with it, because there is a wall here. There's a wall here. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
so lean into those techniques this week, and it's dark. It's dark, but like you'll feel lighter in some weird ways after that. And also, if anybody else has this same kind of thing, is there anybody else that has this and you guys can connect with this? Because we don't want to share this with everybody because it gets so gruesome, but sometimes it's nice to like, okay, Laurel has her hand up. Laurel and Sydney, will you guys connect so that you can text each other and like tell each other all the gruesome, gory shit that
Yeah.
you are doing to the people, if you want to
Yeah.
share it with each other. I just find having the support and like knowing that somebody else's brain gets really bloody and gruesome is really helpful for me to not feel like a weirdo or sicko.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Brittany.
Okay,
Thank
you're
you.
so welcome.
Yeah.
You're so welcome. I'm glad you asked for help. Oh,
Thank you.
yeah. So I saw somebody ask about the 30-day tapping challenge. Cindy, do you guys, I'll just ask the people that are in the 30-day tapping challenge. Would you, if I start another, or if we add people to that, would you want them to start a different group, or would you want to keep adding people to the group? Will you unmute yourself? Yeah, Cindy.
I say the more the merrier.
Okay, cool. That was my thought, but I just didn't know, maybe there was like a timing thing.
I'll
So
add my phone number in the chat right now.
awesome. Awesome. Okay. So what I would do if we're going to add people that are just entering now, and they're on their week 3 of doing this almost, just say what day you are on when you post in the WhatsApp group. So I'm just going to give you guys who is an emotional eater and wants to stop emotional eating in 30 days. Okay, great. So put Cindy's phone number. That's why I was having a hard time, Sydney, because I just talked to Cindy. Put Cindy's phone number in your phone and connect with her on WhatsApp. Okay, download the app WhatsApp, and she'll be a contact of yours. And actually you might start, and she'll add you to the group. Yeah, you won't get alerts until she adds you to the group. So what the push the food away challenge, or what did we call it? The echo tapping challenge, 30-day echo tapping challenge.
Push the food away.
The 30-day push the food away challenge. So it's pretty self-explanatory. All you do is you push the food away every single day for 30 days. Okay. So most people, when they're really struggling with emotional eating, they want to eat emotionally pretty much every day. If you want to eat emotionally 3 times a day, you only have to do it 1 time out of those 3 times, or 2 times a day, you just have to do it 1 time. Okay. So that's the rule. The other rule is that if you miss a day, you don't quit. You just start again the next day. Okay? That's the second rule, is that you just get back on the horse and you just continue. Okay? The reason that we have the WhatsApp group is because people will, we want you to share your wins in the WhatsApp group. Okay. We don't want you to share like the stories, because we don't have coaches monitoring that group, and we don't have anybody that can give you advice from, like my perspective, which is what the coaches are trained to do. And we also want it to be encouraging for people to do it. So like, say maybe there's somebody on the fence that is struggling with, wanting to do it. They don't really want to do it, but they're also kind of like back and forth in their head. We want to share wins so that they can be encouraged to do it, so they don't feel alone, and then they can see like, okay, on the other side of this are some really big wins, and they can be inspired by your posts instead of bummed out by them. Okay. All right. So thank you, Cindy, for doing that. I appreciate it. And so then when you're posting, when you are posting in the WhatsApp group, you want to say like day 2, day 2, and then you say, here's my win for the day. Okay. I really didn't want to do it, and then something happened and I did it. And, now I've been walking around my house for the last 2 hours and I'm feeling really joyful, and, I have no reason to, nothing else changed other than I tapped. Whatever it is, just share what the high level wins are, or as much as you want to share. Okay. All right. Arwen, I'm going to try to get through everybody fast. I'm going to, so I only have 20 more minutes. Hi, Arwen.
So my win is that I've been working with a little triad of buddies, and in our last call, I made the shift from, because I've been focused on healing my relationship with food, to instead the switch has been to using food and following the food to heal myself.
Ooh, yay. Well done.
And like, what? Because the earlier person, I missed her name, that like she had 4 days of peace and then it all went pear-shaped.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Cindy.
that means that a lot of good things have like, I feel like things are getting much better, and I'm much like things are definitely healing. And my question, but having that mental shift of, oh, I'm not healed, it's not a relationship with food thing, it's a let's dig out all the stuff, kick up all the dust, and heal all, and like I'm through so many layers. I'm very excited about that.
Great.
Question.
I mean, that really is what it is. That was just like something I figured out later.
Yeah, exactly. And even my accountability buddy was talking, because I think of all of the littler me's as like Russian nesting dolls.
Mm-hmm.
So like we're trying to get everybody on the same page and healed and aligned and all of that. And the buddy that was sharing that when I had the aha, had been doing some tapping sessions where like her future self and her ideal weight showed up and was healing her little girl.
Love that.
And I was like, what?
Love
And
that.
now I've like started a whole mind movie to like really get present to like my future healthy self. Cool. And like, we're gonna rope her into healing like during the echo tapping stuff. So pretty phenomenal, big win.
Awesome.
And my question for you, well, I was listening to some of the 7-day challenge stuff, and I think that you can't make me has come up, but I'll go back to the inner critic. And I don't know if this is related or not, but I've had some pretty big wins in life in general, and I'm so frustrated that celebrating with food no longer works. I'm so
okay. So wait, are these life wins that you've had since you've done all this like inner healing with yourself? Mm-hmm. Oh, awesome. Okay. So it's showing up in other areas of your life. Mm-hmm. Yay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like the boundary stuff and the healing relation, like all the things.
Great.
And work stuff is like good work stuff is happening, and good just life stuff is happening. And I had some pretty big, like really ugly tasks that I had to get done, and I got them done. Like think
Great.
doing your taxes, but like 100 times worse.
Oh, oof, that sounds
Yeah.
horrible.
So I like pushed through it and I'm like, yay, it's time for a cookie. And then I was like, fuck, that's not right. Because but then I was like, well, but maybe it'll work. Maybe a cookie is the right. So there's like still that.
Okay, so but the reason that you didn't celebrate with food was just because you actually didn't want that. Your thought pattern went to let's celebrate with food, but then when you checked in with your body, you didn't actually want that.
Right.
That's
And then,
amazing. Arwen, that's
well, it's
amazing.
sort of, but then I overrode it.
Okay,
So
right.
this started a whole like, well, maybe this, like I know in my mind or like my future, I don't know, whatever the healed part knows that the cookie is not the thing.
Yep.
And yet there's a part of me that's like, because I haven't found something that is cheap, fast, and as effective. Like, like me just saying, yay, that's not the same.
Okay.
So I haven't found something to replace it. And so I want to celebrate. And I don't know how to celebrate these things.
Okay. This is really good. I love this. I love this conversation. First of all, let's talk about the tapping part of this because I want you to tap on this because this is a small, tiny, tiny, tiny little belief and I'm seeing it as like a neural pathway that's just really deeply ingrained that you haven't cut off yet. And but everything around it is totally clean and healed, but you've just got this one really deep groove because you've been doing it for so long. So what I want you to do is I want you to feel into that, go back to that moment where you want to celebrate and then there isn't food to celebrate with. And I want you to write out, take a pen and a piece of paper and write out what you hear yourself saying in that moment. Those are where the beliefs or the emotional, this isn't a big problem. You're not going to cry. This is not trauma. It's just the ingrained belief pattern and the programming that you have around food. So write that out, tap that out so that stops. And then, I love ChatGPT for this. This is something that you can go to your ChatGPT since your ChatGPT probably already knows you. You can ask it, what are some ways I don't use food as a way to celebrate anymore? Give me 25 ways to increase my dopamine and give me 3 minutes or 10 minutes of pleasure and celebration when that's going to make me feel really good when I want to celebrate something. And I mean, you can keep asking it until you find the one that that works for you. I really like music and dancing. What's funny is that I bet after you tap through this belief, I don't even know if you'll have to replace it anymore because your brain will just naturally do things for you. So like I'll go outside or I'll call a girlfriend or, they sound too boring right now to you because of this belief system. But I think you'll notice that you don't have to you don't have to intentionally replace it. That, having a few strategies on hand is great and is definitely a great thing to have. And I love that you're celebrating. I love the energy of celebration. But yeah, I don't necessarily think it's something that you have to do in that moment when you feel triggered. Because I don't think you'll feel triggered anymore. I want you to actually tap until you don't feel triggered.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Yeah. And then share with us too what you get. Share in the Facebook group what you get for the dopamine rewards. Okay. All right. Thanks, Arwen. Okay, Daniela, go ahead and unmute yourself and I'm just going to turn on my AC. Okay. Hi, Daniela.
Hi, Brittany.
How are you?
It's so good to meet you.
You too.
I'm very, very new to Thrive. I
Awesome.
had my welcome call with Sally my Sunday morning.
Great.
I'm in the same boat as Jennifer, actually. Hi, Jen. I was in the middle of doing week 2 of your 6-week challenge when I got the opportunity to do your virtual retreat webinar.
Oh yeah, I remember your name on the chat roll.
Daniela sitting in China who had trouble with her credit card.
Yes, that's how I remember. Yeah.
Yes. So
Awesome.
tapping along with you guys there, and I'm still in the middle now of doing the week 1 intention setting stuff. I did my ceremony, but just introducing myself, saying hi, and sharing already so many wins just from starting the 6-week program at Arwen in life as well. I'm kind of blown away. I think the first big win is the things lining up to find you and your program when I did, and everything that led me to finding you, because there was so much that I'd learned about health and the journey to health and well-being, but the emotional part was never there. So everything I was doing, I was trying, I could do something, I would have a result, but I actually ended up teaching myself to have so much anxiety around food every time I was eating, and not and being scared of any time or moment where I wasn't micromanaging or weighing things to the gram. And just from that weekend alone, it's not yet, but such a big win for me was starting to actually notice that I can feel full without taking an appetite suppressant or trying to finish everything on my plate and not having to serve myself so much food. I think for me, emotional eating, binging, and self-sabotage are really big things.
Yeah.
And some
Great,
other
Daniela. Congratulations. That's amazing. Yeah.
And just making the time for myself to do this, and when I first heard about you and Thrive, I couldn't actually afford the program. And then something happened and I got a bonus, and I was just like, yes. And then I got to do your virtual retreat, and I was like, yes, this is happening. So I was just so happy and feeling
That's
very
so sweet,
blessed about
Daniela. I'm so honored. Thank you for trusting
it.
me.
And so and some of the stuff you've said so far has just been so profound. Just the bits I've already, like, I'm not a trash can, and being grateful for the food for being there for me all these years, and now leading me to being able to work on the food's not really the problem. It's all those things underneath that have been buried from being a small child, that I've just tried not to think about for years and years and years, and having the opportunity to start working through it and sorting it out. And
Beautiful.
so, yeah, things that are very new, still need to start figuring out what I need to tap on, feeling a little bit of resistance to the echo tapping, because I've been, since starting the 6-week, couple weeks ago, I was like, yes, listening to the morning visualizations, tapping my daily mantra,
Yeah.
all this stuff, and did the echo tapping one time, and almost like a bit nervous to keep going in there.
Oh, well, those that's a good sign, because that's where the deep work starts. So that's a good sign that it's the right thing for you to do.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. If you want, I would join the 30-day Push the Food Away challenge if you haven't
Okay.
already. Yeah.
Great.
And then just do that. If you want to do the morning meditation and the what was the visualization, you can do that, but I would dive head first and do the Push the Food Away.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. And yeah, this whole thing is just so awesome. I'm
Awesome.
very excited.
Thanks, Daniela. Well, I'm excited to be part of your journey.
Oh, I did have one more question.
Yeah.
I haven't got to the part yet of even thinking about it, but could I get some more information about the one-on-one coaches and what that would cost and things like that?
Yeah. So everybody, I just want to remind everybody, you have access to Sally and her Voxer. So you can always reach out to Sally and ask her these questions. And she's got a special link for the students that are in the program for that special price. You can still get it for the same price that we offered it to you last week.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. Thanks, Daniela. Okay, I don't know that I'm going to get to everybody, Laurel. So for those of you who I'm not going to be able to answer your questions, I'm so sorry. And you also have access to Sally. So message Sally after we get off the call so that you don't leave this feeling. Sally can answer for me, and she knows my material so well that she will give you a very good answer. Okay, Laurel.
Hey, so I'm in the 30-day Push the Food Away group. And at the call when you had recommended it to me, I remember this is kind of my win. Like, I actually left the call angry.
Oh shit.
So I was like, "He- that's not the right thing, whatever." And then I tapped on that and the resistance to it and everything. And it was anyway. So I am now doing it, which is a huge win because I had it was because there have been a lot of big emotions there. So it's been
Mhm.
scary and everything. And so you've already answered kind of a lot of the things through other people. Interestingly, so what's happened similar to Cindy is it's like my rebel has shown up. I mean, she's been there, but like she's been there full force the last like 4 days or something. There was one day, it was just like all day, all she wanted to eat was like nut butters.
Mhm.
And and then and it's kind of been to the point where like I can't negotiate with her whatever to even do the echo tapping. It's
Okay.
just although you gave the tip to somebody else, kind of just like calm down first and then see if that is an option. And I just haven't been thinking to do that, that there's kind of like that middle.
It's really hard to think to do that in that moment. The other thing that you can do is you can negotiate with her and you can say, hey, as you do a round of tapping, if you're really aware of your inner rebel and she's like, fuck you, I don't want to do this. You can say, okay, let's just try one round of tapping. And if it doesn't work, we can still eat the food. You can eat the rest of the food, or I'll give you a treat. Like you can talk to this version of you like it's a little child. Well, it is a little child, like it's a little girl. And I would do this to myself all the time. And it was so fucking weird because in that moment, I would kind of think that maybe it's not going to work. You know, it would give me enough courage to do one round of tapping because I knew that I could still eat my candy bar if it didn't work. And then it got me, it brought the anxiety down, till to a manageable point for me so that I could then do another 2 rounds. Most of the time when you're really like in it, you need 3 rounds. So try that. You can also tap while it's happening and then have a dialogue with her and be like, listen, let's just try one round. And then check in after you're done with one round, see how you feel. For me, I always felt like doing more. Maybe you won't. Maybe you're going to be like, okay, that's enough and it's fine. But my guess is at that point, you'll have the capacity to do more. But even if you don't, that's good.
Okay.
Still.
So, and I've gotten to that point sometimes of thinking like, well, if you do this, I'll give you whatever. And then I'm like, no, that's not how we're supposed to be using food. Like, it's not a reward. But I think
in this way you can.
and I might need to because I think partly there have been so many like rules like other people and other programs, but then also like legitimate health restrictions. And so I think she's like afraid that I'm trying to take these foods away. I'm trying to take more foods away from her.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. So I
So
think
telling her that she can still have the food might be what she wants to hear.
right.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I was just curious, otherwise, is there anything else like lesson 8, I think is the I forget self-sabotage, whether maybe to be kind of focusing there extra or
yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely going through
the thing is I'm in the 30-day thing, so maybe I just need to negotiate with her enough to finish that out.
yeah, I wouldn't actually add more to your plate right now. Yeah.
Okay.
The best part, there's nuances to the lesson 8, but the best part of that is the anger work, which you're already doing. So adding anger work while you're doing echo tapping, if you're like, no, don't take that away from me, or fuck you, I'm not going to give it to you, right? With a really elevated voice and punching things and, flopping around on the floor, if that's what you feel like doing, that's the best and the fastest way to get you through the self-sabotage. So there are other little nuances in that program or in that module that are great, but don't worry about that right now.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay, I'll take one more, Christy. Is there anybody that's like dying? Like if I don't talk to Brittany, I'm like losing my mind. Is there anybody that's in that place of all the people that have their hand up?
I kind of am.
Okay, cool. All right. Then I'm glad we're going there.
So my win is I'm on this call.
Okay, cool. Just dive into it. You muted yourself, Christy. You don't have to share a win. Just dive into the let's problem solve.
Okay. So my problem, I've been in the program. I did the 6 weeks during last summer, and started into this program in November, and have just not been able to get myself to do the anger work. Like there is just a total block on
Okay.
doing the anger work.
Okay. What are you experiencing?
Uh, everything. Needing to feed myself before I can do the anger work, finding anything that's better than doing anger work. Just the emotions get just overwhelming.
Okay. And how do you know to do anger work? Is that something that I told you to do, or?
Yeah, one of the early calls, just things really resonated that there's past trauma, ex-husband, uh, miscarriage, just lots of trauma that I need to work through.
Needs to be released. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Do you have a coach? Do you have a one-on-one coach?
I don't.
Okay. If you can swing it, I'm offering it right now at my cost, and Sally has access to that. That's a great place to start. You don't need it, but I think it would be really good, especially if you have if you have a really heavy, if you have a really heavy, if you have a lot of heavy trauma, sometimes it's easier to process with somebody. I want you to look at it as investing in like 10 years of therapy. Okay. So I think it's
Got
like
it.
$1,200 or something like that. It's literally at my cost. So it's the best fucking deal on the planet if you can swing it. So do that. And if you can, and then also when you think about doing the anger work and you're like, okay, I get stuck, I get blocked, is it that you can't feel angry, or do you like what happens in that moment when you say you're blocked? What's happening?
I'm afraid,
You're afraid.
really afraid.
Okay. Okay. Do you know what you're afraid of?
Not being able to control myself after I let it out.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That's really understandable. That's really understandable. My sense is that you should be held, and you should have the help of a coach and a container to process these things. And also you could do some tapping on, I'm afraid that if I let this go, I'm going to collapse, that I'm never going to not be angry. I'm going to be angry for the rest of my life, that there's never an end to this. Once I start feeling angry, it's not going to stop, like stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
You can tap and address the fear, because that's what's blocking the anger. Because you don't know, you might get angry for 20 minutes and then it's done, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's probably more there, but it's definitely not going to kill you. And we've all been there. Every single woman has been here. And it's not you'll have it. It's not the last time you'll have anger. You'll have anger for the rest of your life. That's what I've realized with anger. I tried to get to the end of my anger for like 10 years. And then I realized, oh, there's no end to it. I'm not angry, and I don't sabotage myself the same way I used to, but anger still happens. It's an emotion like sadness or fear, or, all the other things that we feel. So it is an emotion. Sometimes when we've had traumatic experiences, sometimes there are more intense versions of anger, and that's what it sounds like is ready to come out of you. But you're always going to have some anger to deal with.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Thank you.
yeah, you're welcome. I don't know if that was helpful, but yeah, I see you're in it right now. And I think if you just let yourself, don't even take anger off the table, Don't even tell yourself that you are forcing yourself to do anger. Just think about the idea of getting angry and tap into the fear first.
Okay.
I think that's what it is. It's just like too much. It's too much. And your body's like, we've already gone through a lot. I don't want to fucking do this again. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels overwhelming. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. That which makes perfect sense. So just like give yourself a little baby step forward and just work on the fear without even, and give yourself permission to not do the anger work. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Thanks, Christy. Okay. I'm sorry to those of you that I didn't get to. Thank you for coming to the makeup call, and thank you for being patient with me and understanding from last week. And good luck on your Push the Food Away challenge. I'm so glad we added more people to the group. That's really fun, and I can't wait to get updates on that. So everybody have a
Brittany,
fantastic couple of weeks. Yep.
I have a buddy call as soon as we're done here. If they want to jump over there, I'll
Oh,
answer their questions.
oh, awesome. Okay, that's amazing. And if anybody is feeling triggered, that also might be a good place to go to, just so you're in support. And I think Sally does tapping on those too. Awesome. Okay, thanks everybody. Bye.
Thanks
Have a
so
great
much,
rest of your night.
Brittany.
You're welcome. Bye, guys.